Well, hello there, barbecue friends. Today, we got a new grill here to add to the arsenal of cookers. This is the Pit Boss Heritage Wood Pellet Grill. This one's different than my other pellet grill, made by Pit Boss. It's got some upgraded features. In this video, we're going to be assembling this grill here. Take it step by step and follow along with me, and we'll get this thing built. Here, once we take the straps off, I believe this will just lift up. Here we have it, all the pieces and parts. Just slowly take everything apart, try to unpack everything, put all our pieces separated so we can identify it. The instruction manual's right on top, so we'll have a look at that and see what we're doing. All right, now it's starting to come together. Remove some of these pieces here. I got some over on the other table over there. If I come around this way, starting to see the shape of this. All right, on with the build. All right, very small instruction manual here, which is kind of nice. Doesn't look like there's too many steps. Right here. So, gives you a nice layout of all the parts and all the tools needed to put what part together. So I guess once you found your instruction manual, you looked it over, saw what part goes where. Before you unpack all your parts and everything, just throw this away. Just kidding. Well, here's our cover. All right, that's all the parts that were inside the grill. All right, continue to open boxes, try to identify everything. Of course, that's just our cover we'll put aside. More panels. Another grill. All right. All the fasteners needed. See, they're all laid out and identified. All right, we found some casters here. So I could see one of the first steps to the instructions here are mounting the wheels to the legs. So we'll keep these handy. Looks like I got 4 swivel wheels. 2 of them are locking wheels, 2 of them aren't. We'll keep that in mind when we do the assembly. Yeah, it looks like our grill cover handle there. Nope. It's the baffle plate that goes under your grill. And looks like the front shelf. All right, it's electrical cord. Looks like the front panel. Couple meat thermometer probes. And your handle probably for that baffle plate to open and close it. All right, still haven't found the legs. Looks like the legs are probably tucked underneath the barbecue here. So what I'm gonna do, put some cardboard on the ground behind it. See if I can lift the grill. There we go. Just gonna lift the grill off the base here. Put it on this cardboard behind it. And here are the legs. Okay, here we have it. All the parts kind of laid out. Got my legs and my wheels there. Got my other barbecues. And we got the main component there. Certainly is a nice looking grill. All right, back to the assembly here. Let's get our instructions out. All right, I got my wheels unwrapped, ready to go, and I got all my legs laid out. You can see they're labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, according to the instructions. Legs number 1 and 2 get the locking wheels, which are the ones with the extra tab. And legs number 3 and 4 get the ones without the locking mechanism. All right, let's bolt those onto the ends of the legs here. So to mount those wheels, it says to use the B bolts. You can see I got 14 and 14. I'm going to put these B bolts into a bowl so it's easy to find them. Just like that. We're simply going to line up the bolt holes on the wheel with the threaded holes on the leg. Start putting our screws in. Then we'll tighten them up with a large Phillips screwdriver. Simply repeat the process for leg number 2. Using our locking wheel. There we are. Now for legs 3 and 4, we're going to mount the non-locking wheels. All right, we got all 4 wheels mounted to their respective legs. On to the next step. All right, now it's calling for the leg number 3 to be mounted to the bottom and the back side of the grill over here. So we're going to tip this grill up vertically. Now I have it on top of that cardboard so I don't scratch it. Just going to add a piece of cardboard here so it stands more vertical. Don't want to tip it over. Check it. Somewhat stable. I'll add a second piece there. All right. All right, here's a number 3 leg. It says to use 3 B bolts, which are the same bolts we use for the wheels. You can see we got these clearance holes here. And we got the threaded holes here on the grill. So we'll just mount that in. Line it up. There we go. Got one leg on. Now we're going to take panel 25. Now I didn't see a marking saying 25 on here, but if I look at the drawing, it's you'll have two similar panels. One is for this side, and one is for the side for the pellet hopper. Has like a cutout here. So I'll use 3 of the C bolts from our package. We'll line that up with the threaded holes. All right, now it's got us mounting leg number 4. We're going to mount the top part into the threaded holes with the 3 B bolts. We're going to mount this into this panel with the 3 C bolts. Then we have this panel, which is going to go in the front like that. And we're going to mount that with 2 C bolts on the bottom. It'll go in something like that. I may prop this up just a little higher on the one end so that it makes it easier to get the bolts in. Something like that. Lean it up against my grill here. There we are. Got everything bolted in. Get this panel bolted onto here. On to the next step. All right, now we got the back panel here, panel number 26. It's going to bolt into this leg with 3 screws. We'll line up that. We'll get that bolted in. All right, we got that back panel bolted to the leg. We got our side panel, that leg. All right, on to the next step, which we're probably going to mount these 2 legs next. All right, the next step, we're going to be mounting our bottom shelf. We're going to slide it into these pockets that we have in the legs of the wheel here. You can see it's like a tray. You want to make sure the flat side is going to be the upper side of the shelf. You can see we're going to slide it in that pocket, unbolt those legs, and put our bolts in. Okay, when it comes to mounting the bottom shelf, we just come in here. The G bolt we're going to use here on the inside of the shelf, that inside of the tray. And then there's 2, you see the threaded piece. We're going to use 2 B bolts that's going to come up from the bottom and go up inside. Like that. Now the 2 B bolts will come from underneath. And I'm just going to tighten these in by hand for now. Then when we get better access, I'll tighten them right up. You may want to loosen these 2 G bolts, get your B bolts in, and tighten them back up. All right, now we're going to mount leg number 1 here. We're going to line everything up. I'm going to use my 3 B bolts there, my 3 C bolts between the leg and this panel, my 1 G bolt that we just shown, and my 1 B bolt here. Let's bolt that all in. Yeah, it may feel a little awkward reaching in there, feeling the heads of the screw and screwing it in, but maybe you can do this with 2 people. But yeah, it can be done. All right, now we got our last panel. Like I say, it's got this cutout. It's going to go where the bottom of the pellet hopper there. And of course, you got the mounting holes here. We're going to start the bolt in the side and then slide this in with your arm on your thumb on the bolt. And once you reach the hole, just start tightening it up. Then at least you got one bolt aligned, and it should be easier to find the other one. Get that one going, the other going. Okay, we got 3 bolts installed on the back of this panel. Now it's time to mount our last leg, last and final leg. We're just mounting legs all over the place here. By now you kind of know what bolt goes where. All right, we got the last leg on. We got our panel in. We got this panel bolted in, that panel. Little awkward reaching in there to get to all those bolts and tighten them up, but it's done. We're on to the next step. All right, this is the part we're going to lift it up, put it on its wheels, and continue the build. But to do that, I'm going to call my neighbor over, see if he can give me a hand. Way to grip it. Yeah, as long as we gently put it on its wheels here. I think you've got the majority of the weight. Oh, yeah. Perfect. That's a nice barbecue. That's a beauty, eh? All right, so we got the barbecue vertical here. Now we're going to work on our front doors, which I have on the table here. We're going to mount the handles and some other hardware. So here's our front doors. Of course, where those 2 holes are, these are going to be mounted with those gussets with the proper hardware. I believe I got them in this bowl. Then on one side of the door, you got the spring-loaded hinge. If I flip the panel around, we're going to be mounting a bottom hinge onto there, opposite to the spring-loaded hinge there, so the door can open with that handle. So we'll go ahead and do that. Of course, these are mounted with the C bolts. Okay, one handle done. The bottom hinge mounted. Now we'll just do the same thing to the other panel. Now it's just a matter of mounting the doors here. See that bottom pin is fixed where the upper one is spring loaded. So we're just gonna push that in, line up our bottom hinge, and line up that upper one with the hole. Should find its place there. There we go. It's got a little magnet catch there for the door. Again, mount that bottom hinge in. Push that bottom upper spring. And eventually it'll find the place where it goes. There it is. Very easy. All right, now it's time to mount the upper handle here. At least mine came with the gusset already on and the proper screw already in the hole on both sides. So we'll just take those screws out and bolt it from the inside of the door. Start out by pushing the screw through the hole. Then we'll put that gusset piece on there. And we'll just start the screw into the threads. And we'll do the same on this side. You may have to close the door partially to get the screwdriver to bite real good on those. There we are, handle installed. We got 2 holes in this back panel. We're going to put the D hardware in there. Now on the back here, see this D hardware is this shoulder bolt here. I have to get an Allen wrench to tighten it, but threads in here. This is a good place to put that upper grill rack when you're not using it. It'll hang right on the back of the grill. I like that. I'll get an Allen wrench and tighten those up later. Let's spin this back around. Okay, now we're gonna work on this side shelf right here. Okay, now for that shelf, we're gonna mount these two brackets, just like that. Once we get them on, I'll show you, bring you in for a closer look. So it's going to be mounted like that. This threaded hole here, it's going to be like that. The pins on the inside. Get that little hinge part on the bottom. Same thing on this side. The threaded hole is here. And then the pins on the inside of the bracket. And that's for that shelf to sit on. Okay, I should say the same knobs we put on the back of the grill to hang that grill grate, we're going to be putting here on this shelf as well. Just accessory hooks to hang things. So the first 3 holes are for these knobs. In step 19, we'll put the last one in. Okay, the final step to mount our shelf here. We have these shoulder bolts, bolt E. It's going to go through here. It's going to go through that groove on there, and it's going to bolt into that threaded piece right here. So we'll just put the shelf on. And reach in, and you'll find that threaded hole and just tighten it in. And then go back and tighten it with a screwdriver. Okay, here we have it. We got this shelf mounted. It can be folded down, come up like that. All right, now we'll spin the grill back to the front again. Now we're going to be mounting that front shelf in the front. Same way we did the side shelf. We're going to use those 2 brackets right here, mounted to the grill. Same process as the side shelf here. Okay, same as our other shelf. Place that on there. Then we'll use those 2 shoulder bolts that we used on the side shelf, just to put it in place there. All right, there we have it. Fold down table. Fold down table. All right, now we're going to work on the inside. You can see inside our burn pots right in the center of the grill here. All right, you got these 2 cutouts on the one side. One side doesn't have it. So the 2 cutouts are going to go on your pellet hopper side of the grill. There you go. Once you slide it in, it kind of sits inside. There's a couple things that sit in there. This plate's going to sit on top of that baffle plate. And there's these pins that keep it in these grooves. And what that does, it's going to slide open and close, depending if you want direct grilling or indirect grilling. Now you have a rod that's going to fit through here, through the side of the grill, so that you can open and close this baffle without having to remove the grill grate to do so. Now this handle is going to come through the side of the grill to do that job. Got that nice handle to go on it. I'm going to thread that in. Okay, now we're going to push that through the bushing here. Kind of feed it in. And we'll slip that in there, close the thing. Now you'll be able to do direct, indirect grilling just by moving that knob. Okay, now it's a matter of installing our grill grates. You have a large one like this. And it looks like we got two different positions for this shelf. We got a lower position, and we have upper position. Okay, we'll close this. All right, now time to get back on the ground here. Got these two brackets I need to mount underneath, and this is going to hold the grease bucket underneath. It's going to slide in and out on those brackets. Here's the grease bucket. Comes with a aluminum liner in there, but again, that's going to slide in and out on those two brackets, so all we have to do is mount those. I must have missed this step somewhere in the instructions, so I'm crawling in there to bolt it in, but I can't show this part on video because there's too much swearing. There, now that we got the brackets bolted on, I can slide this into the brackets. So it's got the plug to mount on the back side of the hopper. That just pushes in. Of course, you got your standard plug on the other side. I love how the last step to this is to mount the bottle opener here on the shelf. There, now we got the grill all assembled. Hope this video helps you if you need to assemble your Pit Boss Heritage. In the next video, we'll do the first startup and burn on this. Maybe we'll look at some of the features, and we'll get it all ready to cook on. See you on the next one.